Alright guys, welcome back. Here are the answers to those last two. Hopefully you were able to figure them out. Now we're going to move on to dividing decimals. Okay, so this one's going to involve a little bit of vocab. So our first one is we move the point in the divisor to the right until it's a whole number. So what the divisor is basically whatever number is doing the dividing. So like 4.3 divided by, or 4.5 divided by 0.03, this 0.03 will be the divisor. Okay, so this is doing the dividing. And then we move the decimal of the dividend. So what the dividend is what's ever being divided. Okay, so that is what's being divided. The same number of places to the right. So what does that mean? Change color here. Let's go black. Why not? So if we write this as 0.03 divided by 4.5. So first it says move the decimal point in the divisor or whatever's doing the dividing to the right until it's a whole number. So we move this decimal over 2 places. 1, 2. So that way we can get it to be a whole number. Okay, so basically what we can do is now we can undo that. We can erase that there. Now what we need to do is it says move the decimal of the dividend or what's being divided the same number of places over. So now we need to move this over 1 and 2. Then we create a decimal point there. But now that we moved it over, we need to fill that place in with a 0. So we can get rid of that there. I'm trying to get rid of, come on, there we go. So this was 4 and then a 5. Okay? Now we need, step 2 is we place a decimal point in the quotient or the answer directly above where the decimal point now appears. So now we come up here to our answer and put our decimal there. And then we divide like normal. So now we take 3, how many times does it go into 4? 1 time. Then we subtract 3. We get 1. Bring that 5 down. Now how many times does 3 go into 15? That'd be 5 times. So we subtract 15. We get 0. Okay? 0. Awesome. So then now we know our answer. We're done. So our answer would be 150. And then we can put our decimal. We can put 0.0. That's fine. So that would be our answer. And so if we round our answer to the nearest hundredth, we 100. That's the 100. Look over. It's a 5, so we round up. So we would round it to 200. I'll do this other example with you because I know this gets a little tricky. So let's set this up. We have 1.8 divided by 0.8. So then we move this decimal over 1 place. We move this one over 1 place. And we need to put a decimal right above it. Okay? So does 8 go into 1? Nope. So 0. So we do -0. Extra steps for just wanting to show you what's going on. Now we see how many times does 8 go into 18? It would be 2 times. 2 times 8 gives us 16. So now we subtract that, we get a 2. So now we pretend there's a 0. So we bring that 0 down. Keep going on our answer. So how many times does 8 go into 20? 2 times again. Subtract 16. Gives us 4. Gotta get another 0. Bring the 0 down. And how many times does 8 go into 40? That always should be 5 times. 8 times 5 gives us 40. So we subtract that and get 0. So our answer on this would be 2.25. And if we round this to the tenths, we have the tenths is the first. Look over, it's a 5. So we'd round it to 2.3. Okay? Please let me know, reach out to me if you have any questions. We're going to hit these last two things real quick. I think we can get them done pretty quickly. So changing a decimal to a fraction. So this, it says we need to divide the decimal by its place value. Okay? So for example, if there are two numbers after the decimal, then you use 100. If there are three, use 1,000. So this is where the decimal places get their names. Tenths, hundredths, thousandths. So this one, it's in the tenths place. So we just take our 1 and divide it by 10. And that gives us our fraction. Woohoo! Pretty easy there. So now, if we keep going, we have tenths, hundredths. So now we take both of those numbers, we take 23 and divide it by 100. That gives us our fraction. Okay? Same thing goes. So we got tenths, hundredths, thousandths. So we get 464 divided by 1,000. Ooh, this one gets tricky, this next one. So we have 1.25. So remember that 1 is a whole number. So we don't need to actually do anything to it. So that's where the little trick comes in. And then we look at tenths, hundredths. So then we take 25 and divide it by 100. So that's how that one would go. I would recommend reducing them, however, I'm not going to require it on this one. So we do the same thing, 7. Now we got tenths, hundredths, thousandths. So we get 7, 495 over 1,000. Okay? Lastly, to get a fraction from, or a decimal from a fraction, you just take the numerator, the top one, divide it by the denominator. So we take 1 divided by 10. Honestly, guys, you can put this in your calculator. It's going to give us the same as up here, so it'd be 0.1. So then we do 22, or not 22, that's my favorite number. 23 divided by 100, same as up here, so that'd give us 0.23. These other ones aren't quite as nice, but we can still do them. So if we do just plug into our calculator, 58 divided by 125, we get 0.464. Okay, 1 we don't need to worry about. It's a whole number, and then 1 divided by 4 gives us a fourth, so 0.25. Same thing here, we keep that 7 out front, use our handy dandy calculator. 99 divided by 200 comes to 495. Or 0.495. So those are answers. Alrighty, so that's all that we have for this lesson. So make sure to go on, log in, get set up for MathSpace, and go do your homework on there. Make sure to do your work on the side and show your work.